everyone. So as always, you'll need for today, you can use like a bolster or pillows or blankets, or you can use towels, rolled up towels. Just think of anything that's soft and comfortable that you can slide underneath parts of your body just to help keep you and hold you in the shapes that we're going to make today. So if you're newer to yin yoga, we're only going to do maybe like 6 to 8 poses throughout the whole hour, and we're going to hold them. So the intention is that we're trying to just find some sensation in the body as opposed to being too focused and worried about the shape, or really just adding the props and adding those layers of support as we need. So let's start seated. And when you're seated, you can always slide a pillow or a blanket underneath you to just kind of elevate the hips a little bit. And just begin to find a comfortable position with the legs. So maybe the legs are crossed, or they can even be extended in front of you. And just start to move around a little bit if you just kind of need to start to check in with the body. And when you feel ready, just start to settle into some stillness. So you can let the hands rest on tops of the legs. Maybe start to close your eyes or just soften through your gaze. Begin to soften the shoulders away from the ears. Relax the jaw. Maybe just start to observe the noises going on around you. So maybe they're the noises outside of the room that you're in, or in the room that you're in. It can be people walking around, other people talking, the dog running around or licking her paws. And I say to just observe and notice these noises because these are things you can't control. And just allow them to be a part of our practice today. And then just start to notice what's going on in your own body. Any spaces that feel tight or tender. Any spaces that feel really open. Any spaces that you maybe just don't really notice because they're just content where they're at and how they're feeling today. And then starting to be curious about your breath. your inhales, your exhales. How much space the breath is taking up in your body. And allow it to just start to take up a little bit more. Take just a few more rounds of breath here, just settling into our practice today. One more. Just keeping your legs where they're at, just start to bring your hands towards the fronts of the legs. So maybe they rest on the shins, or maybe they come to the ground in front of you, and just really start to round the spine. So let the chin come to the chest. Feel like you're trying to create a lot of space in the back body. And you might just stay kind of more upright here, or you may start to walk the hands a little bit forward, but keep focusing on that rounding of the back body. You can even bring an extra pillow or blanket in front of you to just rest the arms on, or the hands can just gently rest on the floor. But if you start to feel like your hips are kind of lifting up off the pillow, the blanket, or the ground, I don't want you to keep going. I want you to back up just a little bit so that way your hips don't come with you. Keeping your hips grounded. As you breathe, sending the breath into the space you're trying to create in the back body. And don't feel like once you get to the place that you get that you have to stay there. You can always take it a little deeper. You can always pull it a little back. Just continuously checking in and tuning in with your body. And you can even change the props, right? So just because you started on a blanket doesn't mean you're going to stay there. Just a couple more breaths here. We're not holding for too long here today. Last breath here. And slowly start to lift yourself up. Feel your spine lengthen again. Feel the crown of your head reach to the sky. If it feels natural to take any movements when you rise back up, feel free to do so. And then let's switch the position of the legs. So you can extend them out long, shake them out, and just let the feet flop open. If there's any pain or extra discomfort as your legs stay straight, you can take a pillow or a blanket underneath each knee and just elevate it. Usually that can help allow this to feel a little bit more comfortable, and you're still stretching the backs of the legs. It doesn't take away that stretch. But before we kind of lean into this straight leg position a little bit more, let's bring our attention to our head and our neck and just kind of gently rock and roll the head a few times. You can allow the chin to roll across the center of the chest. And start to bring your right ear to your right shoulder and just allow the head to pause there. So we're not trying to like press the head really heavy to try to get as close to the shoulder as we can. We're really just kind of letting it fall and pause where it stops. You do not have to press into this stretch to get a stretch in the muscles in the neck. Lots of little muscles holding up your head. A couple more breaths here. And start to just let your chin roll across the center of the chest. So that way your left ear can find your left shoulder. And the size might feel a little different. You may feel it a lot, a little, in the middle. If at any point you feel yourself getting distracted, you can invite your focus back to your breath. Just back to the inhales and the exhales and the flow. And relaxing the shoulders. Last few rounds of breath here. And you can slowly start to lift your head up. Again, if there's any movement, either with the head or the shoulders or the rest of the body that feel good to take, listen and take it. And even just shake the legs out. And as you're shaking the legs out, just like see how much you can try to let go some of like the muscles in the legs working really hard. Just really trying to reminding them to release a little bit, even if it's just 1% more. It's like 1,000 times harder to relax the muscle than it is to engage. And your feet can be really wide. They can be a little bit closer together. You decide your comfort level here in terms of that width, but we're gonna rotate the torso over the right leg. So know that however wide you make it, you wanna be able to rotate the torso. And just start to lean forward. And again, that lean might literally just be a rounding of the spine towards the right, or it could be actually hinging a little bit at the hips. It's going to change the sensation a bit. And remember, you can always have that blanket or pillow underneath the leg. It's still working sensations in the hamstring and through the back of the leg. Notice if you're trying to activate the leg to help hold you here. And again, just see if you can let go 1% more. Just a little while longer here. After your next breath, you'll slowly start to bring yourself all the way up, coming back to center. And this time, even if you feel like you want to move, just take a moment and breathe first. Take an inhale and an exhale. And then if you still feel that desire to move a little bit, go for it. We're not gonna do that for too long. We're gonna come right into the other side. So maybe the legs just want a little shake out before you do that. But just when you're ready, you'll start to turn and rotate the torso towards the left leg. Again, you've got your props if you need them. And then again, you can start to lean forward. It can literally just be a rounding of the spine, or you can lean a little forward. It does not have to match what you did on the other side. Your sides are going to need different things. So always moving slowly and intentionally. Maybe shift a little bit forward, pause, and then find a little bit more space and go a little bit more forward. Again, you don't have to stay wherever you start. Last few rounds of breath here. After your next breath, slowly start to lift yourself up. Rotate the torso back to the middle. Again, I invite you to find one breath. Inhale and exhale. And then taking any movements that feel comfortable and good for the body. We're gonna do one more seated pose before we come to lay down. So you're gonna bring the soles of the feet together with the knees wide, coming into butterfly legs. So you can place those pillows and blankets underneath the knees. Your feet can be really close to you or really far away or somewhere in the middle. And again, we're going to focus on that rounding sensation, rounding the spine, maybe leaning forward, or maybe just sitting up with that rounded spine. You can play with going a little bit deeper perhaps, or coming a little bit more out of it. Just changing the spot that you're holding. And notice if you're physically like engaging to hold yourself here. And see if you can let go just a little bit. Last few rounds of breath here. Nice and slow. Start to lift yourself all the way up. And you can move the legs, shake them out. Let's add a little movement to the head too. Just if your props are right next to you, just gently move them out of the way. So they're still within hand's reach, but they're just not in your space. And you're gonna start to come to lay down on your left side. So think fetal position on the left side. You can use your arm as a pillow, or you can use an actual pillow as a pillow. That is totally fine. I totally approve of that. You want to make sure you have enough space for your shoulder. And then just allow the knees to come towards each other. And if you feel a little unsteady, you can always use that left hand to support you. And we're just going to pause here. Trying not to get too sleepy. So if you feel extra sleepy today, maybe keep your eyes a little soft. As opposed to closing them all the way. And you're going to keep your right leg as is. So that right knee is going to stay bent. And then just lengthen the left leg. So the top leg long. So the foot starts to rest on the floor. But almost think of it like you're trying to, like you're in one straight line. And the hip and the foot are in line. The foot might not even want to come all the way to the floor. And then you can kind of use that right foot to like make a little kickstand for it. We're not going to hold this for too long, but the intention is to just add a little bit of extra stretch in the outside of the leg. It's really subtle. It's a small move. You may feel it a lot. You may not feel it at all. Just 3 more breaths here. Guys, that we're not going to be here for that long. You can do whatever you want with the top arm. So you're going to bend the left leg again, bring it to meet the right, and just relax a little bit. You probably were a little bit more activated than you wanted to be there. And then you're going to straighten the bottom leg. So again, sending the foot towards the bottom of the mat, and that top knee can even come rest on the floor. But this time you're going to reach the top arm, that left arm, all the way up and over and come into a spinal twist. So you might have to move that pillow out of the way if you were using it. It's okay if that knee starts to try to come with you. Goal is just to try to keep that left leg over to the left. You can always add a pillow or a blanket underneath the left knee. Or if you don't like that sensation at all, you can always bring the knees to meet. And the focus here is really just a spinal twist with the legs over to the right. So you can shift and adjust as you need. And even add a pillow between the knees like I did. Just a few more rounds of breath in this twist. We're gonna roll all the way onto our back. So if you have props, just gently move them out of the way. And then just let the knees start to point up to the sky. Just pausing here. And you're gonna roll to the left side, coming into that fetal position on the left side. And again, you can use the pillow as an actual pillow, or you can use your arm. And then just tuck your knees in. And we're gonna move that top leg first. So just start to straighten your right leg, that top leg out. And see if you can allow the foot to start to find the floor. It's okay if it doesn't. You can always use the bottom foot as like, just like help it up there a little bit. The sides are gonna feel a little different. I know for me, this side feels a lot harder. Just breathing into it, just a few breaths here, not too long. Then start to bring the top knee into stack. And you'll extend the bottom leg. Reach the top arm, the right arm, all the way up and over. So moving into that spinal twist. So again, you can keep that bottom leg straight, or you can always bend the knees and have them stack. The intention is here is just a spinal twist. So you can shift what that looks like to support your body today. Last few rounds of breath here. And slowly start to bring the knees all the way back up to the sky. You can hug your knees into your chest. You can rock the knees from side to side. Oh. And then just start to extend the legs out in front of you. Arms fall by your side. We're going to start to set up for Shavasana. So you can slide some pillows or blankets underneath the backs of the legs. If it is uncomfortable in any way to be on your back, you can always throw your legs up a wall or on top of a chair. And using these last few minutes in complete and total gratitude for your practice today. Shavasana. Starting to bring some awareness back into the space. Starting to bring some awareness back into the body. Wiggling your fingers and your toes. Rolling out wrists and ankles. And rocking your head from side to side. Just slowly starting to roll onto one side. Using the strength of your arms. Beginning to press yourself up. Coming into a comfortable seat. Bringing your hands to your heart center, gently bow your head. Thank yourself for making it to your mat today, for your practice, for your energy, for your breath, and most importantly, for yourself. Namaste.